Did you know Hollywood can unlock powerful insights? Is this the wrong one?
No.
Do you?
Maybe get some sound in my ear, too.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
What number are you on? He's yellow, number 2. Testing. Is that any
There
better?
we go. I can hear it now. Yeah.
Did you get a haircut?
No, I just did the sides.
By yourself?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
You just take a clippers and
What number is it on?
3. Because I don't have a 2. I broke it. So no.
I have a brand new, got one of these gifts, male grooming things. And every time I put it on, like, all right, I want to do my goatee at like 6.
Yeah.
And it's so tight, it like almost cuts the whole thing off. So I'm afraid to put it on the side of my head.
It grows back.
Did you know Hollywood can unlock powerful insights for your local marketing strategy? What? All right.
Listen.
In this episode, we'll reveal how the storytelling techniques used in movies can elevate your marketing approach. Hollywood has mastered the art of engaging audiences through compelling narratives, and local businesses can learn from this. We'll explore how to identify your brand's hero, villain, and supporting characters, translating film storytelling into a brand narrative that customers will notice and remember. Find out how to harness reliability to make your audience support your business and discover the timeless storytelling structures that can turn your marketing into something unforgettable. Join us on Mastering Local Marketing Podcast as we dive into practical tips that can help you boost your local marketing efforts, enhance brand awareness, and build customer loyalty. Don't miss out on learning how these lessons from Hollywood can be applied to your small business.
You're going to love this one.
He's Matt Hansen. I'm Jim Diedlow. Jed, hey, just throw him over. We're doing this live. And thank you so much to Jaime for handing me these glasses, and I appreciate that so much better. Matt Hansen is a digital marketing guru. He's been in the business before it was actually a term, digital marketing. And I'm Jim Diedlow. I own Jed TV, Sports Network, and WJOB Radio. We are live on the radio on October 2nd of 2025. You know, one of the things that just gets me out of this, if you guys know how this works, I've been doing radio and TV for upwards off and on for 40 years. I don't like to know what I'm talking about when I come in. Producer Adriana's over there. She'll just say, hey, so-and-so's here. You're going to interview him. And I like to do it because then I want to ask the questions that somebody that just heard it for the first time would know. But if you have all night to think about it, like if I prep for an interview, it falls flat. But I want to tell one quick story on this. I went to TED Sports the very first time they had TED Talks on sports. And it was in Indianapolis, and Triple H was there, the WWE guy. He married Vince McMahon's daughter, right? And he got up there, and his entire TED Talk was about storytelling. And he says, listen, WWE, you could say, oh, it's fake. Oh, it's overdone. The competition, the injury, all the different things. He goes, but all we know is that we have to tell a story every time. And I went to that whole conference for 3 days, listened to so many TED Talks. I can't believe that was the number one thing I took out of that. And it has colored the way that I'm thinking about what we do in our business.
Yes. So this has been, I haven't done a TED Talk, but I've been hired by different universities to give this, what we're about to talk about. And I will sit down with my family. We love to watch. We have like family movie night when all of my kids are home and all that. And we'll sit down and one of us will pick a movie. And if you've been in marketing long enough, and if you understand this storytelling that Hollywood does, you can apply it to your marketing as well. And so we're going to get into that today. And really, what we have to understand is there is a process that every single movie, TV show, whatever it may be, it goes through to set up. And it's kind of like this rinse and repeat. And what we do is we need to take that format and apply it to our own marketing and understand it. And I think a lot of people don't do that. So let me take you back, right? So we're watching movies, and when we watch these movies, there are certain things that are happening in the movie that if you've been doing marketing long enough, you'll pick up on them, right? And I've been teaching this for years, the whole storytelling, and there's various different things. I always call it like the dropping the keys and all this other stuff. So there are things that happen, and as you're watching the movie, they introduce you to the first thing, right? Which is the main character, something that the movie or the show is going to be about. We can take any movie that's out there, right? And I like to say, all right, well, let's think about things that are popular right now. So you've got a Spider-Man or an Iron Man. You can go back to the Top Gun movies with Tom Cruise being Maverick and all. Like, we establish the story around somebody, right? And the whole movie, we introduce them. You start to get to know who they are. You know what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and then they introduce this problem that they have.
All right, let me guess. You have to have an anti-main good character.
Well, of course.
And that would be, in common knowledge, is a villain.
Of course. There's always a villain in every story, right? So, when you look at your daily life, you have a villain in your story as well, right? It's somebody at work that maybe drives you crazy. It's a competitor that drives you crazy. It's it's a customer that drives you crazy, right? There's some villain out there in every story. So we have our main character, and then we have our villain. And there's this problem that they're going through, right? They're dealing with something, and the villain maybe is the one that is causing it. And this problem just becomes bigger and bigger as they go through the
You know
whole
what
story.
it is? It's this.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so either zip it or there you go.
There we go.
All right.
All right. I won't move as much today.
All right, good enough.
All right. So so you have the hero, right? That I call it the main character is the hero. And then you have the problem, and then you have the villain. But what are we forgetting? What's the one thing that you always have to have?
All right, I've been watching all these children's movies with my granddaughter. And I'm going to say, like, there's always the funny bird, there's the funny donkey, there's the kind of, I don't know if it's I noticed this on every one of these shorter little kids things. There's like princess and her dog, or the prince, if it's about a guy, he has a little caricature that follows him around. I don't even know why they're there sometimes.
So they are there. It's what we call the sidekick, right? So it's the
sidekick.
Person
That's
that is going with them to help solve kind of the problems that they have, right? So this stems back. I mean, when my kids were young, we had Dora the Explorer, and she had kind of the map and all this other stuff that would help her do these things. So the basic premise that we're getting at here is that you have the main character, which we call the hero, you have the villain, you have the sidekick, and you have the problem that the entire movie or the entire show is trying to solve. When we flip this to your business, the hero or the main character is your customer. That customer has problems that they are dealing with. We call them pain points. And there is some villain, something out there that has caused said pain point. And what most companies do in their marketing is they try to be the hero to the main character. And what do I mean by that? They come out and they say, oh, let me tell you how wonderful I am and overshadow you, and you should buy from me to solve your problem. What they need to do is try to be the sidekick. I have a couple ideas that will get you to where you need to go. I'm a financial advisor. You're struggling to retire by the age that you want to retire from. You should buy my services. That sounds horrible, right? Instead, I should come out and say, I've got a few ideas that you could potentially implement to get to where you need to be. If you want to talk about it, that's great. Like, I have these ideas, no pressure, but when you're ready and you want to solve that problem, I'm there to help you. Instead of what most people do is, I'm the greatest at this. You should hire me. We won all of these awards, all of this other stuff. It's me, 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 me. Don't do that.
Okay, so let's look at Disney's Frozen. You got Elsa.
Yep.
And then you got Olaf the snowman.
Yep.
That's a sidekick. I mean, I don't know these that well because I always fall asleep in the middle of them. But Olaf is there. So in a commercial, you would have the main character Elsa, and you would have sidekick Olaf. Are you saying Olaf should be the one that offers what?
Offers opportunities to the problem, right? So you have Olaf, you had the sister, right? You had
Olaf is the sidekick. Elsa is the main character.
right, but Elsa had a sister.
Yeah, she has a sister,
right,
yeah.
that helped her
Yeah.
out. I think there was a boyfriend or something in there
Yeah,
as well. if I remember
Prince,
correctly,
somebody other.
right?
Yeah.
So you have all of these people that are offering opportunities to solve her problem, right? So again, I'm sitting there last night and I'm in an incubator for new startups, and everyone keeps asking me the same question. What's the number one thing you would recommend to somebody that's starting a business? And I tell them over and over and over again, find other people that will help you solve your problems. Don't do it alone. That's what we're saying here, is that from a business standpoint, we are in business to provide opportunities to solve other people's problems. We should not have the spotlight on us. We should not be the hero in the story. Our customers should be the hero, and we should be there to supply the answers when they ask us for those answers.
Okay, in a structure, show us how you could structure that around come to my ice cream parlor.
Well, I mean, you sell ice cream, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you look at that, what's the problem that you're solving?
You're looking for a treat.
Okay.
For your
A
family.
treat for who? For your family.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it a one-time thing or is it a nightly thing?
No, it's like every few weeks.
Okay. So are you a grandfather? Are you a parent? Where are we going?
I am a parent that has 3 kids that drive me nuts.
Okay. So it's when we look at that, you're not buying ice cream. You're going every couple weeks. You said kids drive you nuts. It's an opportunity for peace, right? It's an opportunity to get out of the house, to let your kids enjoy something. They're going to be happy at that point. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, they like ice cream. Who doesn't? It's an opportunity for escape, right? So if you are, let's say you're a stay-at-home parent and you have 3 kids and they're always driving you crazy and whatever else, it's that one opportunity in the week or every couple weeks that you get out of the house, you get to enjoy the outside, and your kids are going to be in a great mood, and everyone gets to share those opportunities together, right? I can tell you I have 31 flavors. Big deal, right? I'm shining the spotlight on me if I say that. We have the best ice cream. We are authentic in everything that we have. It's all of these different things. But no, what we're trying to say is we're trying to identify the opportunities that our customers want, right? What are the pain points that they have? If you're telling me that you take them every couple weeks for ice cream just to get into a different environment, to make them happy, they're always fighting at home, but when we have ice cream, they're enjoying each other. It's a family moment. That's what you're selling, is that family moment, not the ice cream.
So you have a 30-second spot. Who is to tell the parent that? Who is that? If it's your commercial, right, and you're going to put it on social or on linear, what do you put in that commercial exactly?
So in that commercial should be your customer, right? So your customer is the hero.
So you show a picture of a mom and a dad and 3 kids going.
Right. So, if you're doing video or if you're doing just a static image, it's the picturesque enjoyment photo, right? So it's mom, dad, 3 kids sitting at a table, maybe little Jimmy has ice cream, on his face, whatever it is, right? Like it's the little moments that you remember eating the ice cream. The ice cream is the sidekick or the side part to the story, but it's part of the environment. It's what brought them all together.
Okay. So who's telling the story? Who's the narrator?
So from the narrator standpoint, again, we can sit there and tell you how great you are from an ice cream shop. But the narrator is telling the story of, you need a break, generating moments, right? Like, take it back. When you were a kid and you went and got ice cream with mom and dad or whatever, you're on vacation. Like, we didn't go get ice cream a lot when I was a kid, right?
I can't even remember, just a couple times because it was expensive.
It's expensive.
And
right?
It wasn't a thing then.
But
yeah.
When I think of getting ice cream when I was a kid, I was on vacation and we would get ice cream. It was after a Little League game.
Yes.
We'd go get ice cream. And it's those moments I remember sitting around with all of the other guys that were on the team, and our parents were off by themselves, but it was that memory I still have to this day of hanging out with the guys, and they used to have the little baseball helmets that you get the Sundays in and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's what I remember. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to tell a story with our business. So what you need to do is build upon that memorable moment, because no one's going to remember the 31 flavors and all the names that are in there and, what the price of the ice cream was, or what they're going to remember is the memory. So that's what we're trying to get through in our marketing, is that what are those memories that we want to create for our customer, and then put that into our advertising.
So who's the hero?
The hero is always the customer.
So you have an issue of chaos in your home.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be the hero of that chaos by coming to the counter over here in Highland, owned by extended relative here, and who is telling that story? Not me as the business owner, and certainly not you as a hero, because you're watching this. It's actually some other voice,
right,
some other observer, right?
Right.
They're not saying from the business, hey, look how great we are. We have so many flavors, and we just upgraded, and you could come here, and we're open at this hours. You're saying, look at that. Hey, you're a little bit tired, a little bit. You need to get out, have an escape moment. The counter can do that for you without saying how great it is.
Right.
Well, and pick the kids up, let's go. And they might get a sundae, they might get a shake, they might get a scoop. But hey, it's all in for being just a good family moment.
Yeah.
Come to the counter.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. At this point, your kids are staring at their phones for 7 hours a day, right? You're connected constantly. You're always on your computer. You're always looking at a device. Families are getting separated in terms of not having that connection like they used to, right? Even when I was growing up, I came from a divorced family, and when I met my wife, she's like, "Oh, well, we'll sit down and eat dinner every night." And I looked at her, I thought she was crazy. Like, people do that? And I think it's gotten worse. I mean, we try to do that every single night, just as a family moment. That's how we catch up with each other. Phones go away, we sit down and we eat together. But what we're saying here is, I would guess 85% to 90% of businesses don't tell a story in their advertising. And what they do is they brag about what they are, right? They literally brag about it. Like, we are the best, we are this, we are that. And instead of looking at your customer and talking to your customer's pain points, they're bragging and trying to take the spotlight from their customer.
He's Matt Hansen. I'm Jim Diedlow, Jed. So let's go on with the Mastering Local Marketing podcast. Let's look at the Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do this.
Sure.
Hero
is interesting.
Hero is Dorothy.
Right.
She has several sidekicks.
Right.
Cowardly Lion. Put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em all.
Right.
The Tin Can Man. And I think there's Scarecrow, right?
Scarecrow, yep.
They're there.
Those and Toto.
And Toto's also a sidekick.
Right.
We'll just leave it at that. And then you have the villain is certainly the Wicked Witch.
Right.
Right? And you have a problem that she wants to get to the Emerald City so she can go back to Kansas.
Right.
Where in there is there an advertorial?
I can tell. So here, let's flip the script on you. Have you seen Oz?
Is that where the Wicked Witch is
the good person?
Is the good person?
Glinda and the Wizard of Oz are the bad people.
Yes, I have not seen it,
Okay.
but yeah.
So
Are you,
I'm saying here that
aren't you talking about Wicked?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Wicked.
Sorry,
yeah.
Wicked.
Yeah.
All you did was flip the script on that, didn't you? It's the exact same story, seen from a different perspective. Two movies, they're related. You can see how they both, neither one is a lie, but you're seeing it from different perspectives, right?
Did you see Adriana Wicked? Who's the good person? It's the Wicked
The
Witch.
Wicked Witch.
Right?
Yes, the Wicked Witch is considered to be the good person.
How do they make Dorothy a bad person?
Well, they don't necessarily introduce Dorothy into that, but Glinda becomes the egomaniac that...
She becomes a facade so
Yeah.
that people think that she's the good one, when in reality it's the Wicked Witch that's the good one.
So Glinda, the good witch,
Mm-hmm.
and the Wicked Witch of the West are the two main characters. One's
And-
the hero and one's the villain.
Yes.
So that's all they did is just
Well,
plug,
actually-
plug and play into the Matt Hansen structure of every story.
Well, the funny about Wicked is that Glinda actually becomes the sidekick.
Yeah, she has no powers
She
at
has
all.
no power. She's just basically there alongside her, but the Wizard of Oz becomes the villain in the end.
Because he's the one that has a corrupt government, basically.
Yeah. So what we're saying, and I don't want to get into all of this, but what we're saying here is that perception is reality. So however you spin things is the way that your customers are going to see things. So it's funny because you go into this movie, Wicked, and you think, okay, how are they going to spin this? And then you see it and you're just like, okay, and it builds and builds and builds, and you're following along with the story and you're seeing, but in The Wizard of Oz, it was opposite. And what you have to realize is it's from a different perspective. So what we're saying from a business standpoint is you're seeing things from your perspective and trying to push them out. Your customer is seeing it from a different perspective, pushing them in. You have to figure out both sides and tell the right story. So now that you've seen The Wizard of Oz and you've seen Wicked, you watch The Wizard of Oz again, and it's a completely different movie because you're literally saying, well, this is false. This is false. Why do they see it this way now that I know more information?
It makes more sense.
It makes more sense, right? So I guess we've gone down like a rabbit hole today in this one. But what I'm saying is the narrative has to be from your customer's point of view, not yours. So what we're saying is the Wizard of Oz was from Dorothy's view. Wicked was from the, basically the wicked witch who is not wicked in the movie. She's just trying to
She's
get by.
misunderstood.
Misunderstood. And that's exactly what our customer is misunderstood by most businesses because they don't look at it from the customer point of view.
All right, have you bought anything recently?
Have I bought anything
Yeah, like
recently?
anything. Like what?
It's really funny. I bought somebody a present, and it's from Wicked.
All right, so let's go back to his present store. Where'd you buy it? Off Amazon?
I bought it at Five Below.
All right. So Five Below is just a retail store. They kind of standalone-ish. A lot of times they're in big malls. How would you apply the storytelling technique to advertise Five Below?
Well, Five Below is it's relatively inexpensive merchandise,
The
right?
most expensive thing there is probably what I bought, which is around $35 to $50.
Right.
So I don't think they would exceed over that $50 limit.
Yeah, so I don't think, Jim is a Five Below customer, let's be honest, right?
Okay.
So my daughter, who's 17, talked to me. She's like, we need to go to Five Below. I need to go in there, and there's this and this and this and this that I want to get. She ended up getting some kind of little microphone so she could do video blogging or something. I don't know what it was. But you go in there and it's nothing but a bunch of younger, kids essentially. And it's a bunch of just different technologies, it's iPhone covers.
It's like a kid version of Target.
That's exactly what it is, right? So from the standpoint of who the customer is, it's really cheap, right? So, essentially it's kind of like a dollar store, but it's, a little bit more pricey in some of the stuff. But they have things that revolve around the teenager lifestyle. Am I right? Mm-hmm. So it's everything from movie stuff to technology things to things you can wear. There's a million different types of candy, right? So it is the epitome of a teenager dropped into a store. Yeah, right?
I give you that.
So when we talk about Five Below, it's if I could take all of the thoughts of my daughter and put them into a store, it's that store, right? So when she started talking about it, she was like, I want to go get this lapel mic. I want to do this video series. They have it. Let's go. And I kid you not, I just walked around watching her in there, and you see all of these other kids in there.
He's got a problem. You know that he is always thinking of marketing. Even when you take your kid to Five Below, you're thinking of marketing.
Well, it's like doing communications and all that. You watch a movie and you see how they film it. You see how the lighting is, and it ruins movies for you because you're nitpicking every single little thing.
Yeah.
By the way, well, we'll talk about.
I know
lighting
the lighting
later.
is not the greatest right now. I'm looking at it right now.
The sun changes, and that's what happened. It went behind a cloud, and now it's not. But anyways, so give me an example, a quick example of a spot you would do for them.
So yeah, it's basically you're targeting a younger customer, so a high schooler. It's imagine from her point of view, you could take everything from TikTok or Instagram and put it into a real life location. It's the Wizard of Oz kind of Emerald City, so to speak. You walk in there and it's like, oh my goodness, look at all the fun things that are in here that I can play with.
What's the villain to that?
The villain to that is the traditional store or the
Target for kids.
Target for kids.
Yeah.
Target for teenagers.
Right. So, okay, is it the Walmarts, the Targets of the world? Is it the shopping malls of the world? Like, let's be honest, they're not going to shopping malls anymore. That is not where you want to be. But what we're saying is the villain on this stuff typically is somebody that is trying to push other things on them, not listening to what they want, right? So, my daughter with the lapel microphone could have went to, something like B&H Photo and bought some massive like H4n microphone and all this other stuff, which will cost you hundreds of dollars. I think she spent maybe $5-10 on it, and it works. It's fine. It's nothing big. She didn't put a ton of money into it. So you're looking for a price conscious, doesn't have a lot of money, and you open up that door and it's just everything that is for you, right? So it's that Emerald City, so to speak, for teenagers, I guess is the way you would look at it.
Script could be something like narrator of, hey, you're tired of going to a massive department store when all you really want is something really cool to take to school, right?
Well, think about it in The Wizard of Oz. Remember he said, don't look behind the curtain? I mean, you could literally take that same thing here and say, let's look behind the curtain of Five Below, and you open the curtain and it's everything you've been looking for in one store, but you find it pieced out in the Targets, the Walmarts of the world.
Mm-hmm. Basically.
That was really cool, dude. that could be a great commercial right there. Would
Right.
you like to look behind the curtain at Five Below?
Yeah.
Here it is. He's Matt Hansen, Digital Marketing. This is episode 79, Lessons from Hollywood on Small Business Marketing. We're going to return to this because it's so interesting, and then you can have movie suggestions for your family movie night.
There you go.
Thanks a lot, Matt Hansen. Thanks a lot, Adriana. And thanks to you for listening and watching. Mastering Local Marketing anywhere you get your podcasts.
What happened?
What do you mean what happened? You told me a long time ago, have a little silence going in so we could see where to edit it.
No,
on
but
the
that was too
audio.
much
He
silence.
couldn't see
I
the
thought it was.
opportunity because
Yeah,
you
you go,
didn't have
hey-
I was like-
glasses on. Yeah.
All right, I think my mic's a little bit hot. How about this guy over here? Are we live on the radio?
You guys are live on
All
All
the
right,
radio.
so hold on a second. You told me to have a little silence in
But
so
it
that
was,
we
it
know
was
where
a
to
longer
start
pause than usual, so I was like,
it.
what happened?
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to be quiet. You're going to count me down and tell me when to start talking. In this episode of Mastering Local Marketing, we explore the crucial question, where do different generations shop? With shopping habits no longer being a one-size-fits-all, it's essential for small business owners to understand the local marketing implications of generational preferences. From the tech-savvy Gen Z on TikTok and Instagram to the more traditional Gen X shoppers, each generation has distinct go-to channels. We dive into the reasons behind the decline of shopping malls and why online platforms like Amazon and social media are dominating the landscape. In this episode, we break down 1, how each generation prefers to shop and the importance of local marketing strategies. 2, the role of in-store experiences versus digital channels in attracting diverse customers. And 3, what you can implement to remain relevant across generations. Tune in and discover actionable insights that can help your business thrive into today's competitive environment. He is Matt Hansen, the digital marketing professor here at Purdue Northwest. I'm Jed, the owner of Jed TV Sports Network and WJOB Podcast Network. I don't know if this is possible.
Sure it is. I don't know what it is, but sure it is.
Look at Adriana there for the third time this morning, hosted the morning show as a 21-year-old with another 21-year-old who is extremely immature. And were able to do a show in a market, in a radio market that is dominated probably on 45 years and over. And they were able to make the connection. They had real good numbers on YouTube. They had a bunch of callers. And I asked her how'd it go. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, nobody's really interacting because we're 21 years old. Yeah. And she tells us in the thing, oh, no, it went great. So I'm like, how did that happen?
I don't know. I was very surprised when I went on YouTube, looked at the numbers. I was full-heartedly going in. I'm like, I know it's going to be like maybe 1 or 2, and that's just going to be like my mom and my grandmother watching. Like I was expecting it. And I look, there's 30 people. It's like, whoa, hold on. So then as we continue talking, and the thing was that I found we weren't talking about politics, which surprised me even more because that's what usually grabs the attention, at least for this audience and environment. So we weren't talking about politics, and we talked about it for maybe 30 minutes, and we still had that same audience numbers. So I think it was just more so people were interested to see who are these individuals, what do they have to say, and how are they going to present it. So with the numbers like this, we can only hope that it stays around that same for the first few and grows from there.
It surprises the hell out of me to talk in a generational way.
Yeah. No, I mean, generations they're all different, right? And we got to realize that we're all running together in this world, and there are differences among generations that we have to understand, and there are similarities among generations that we have to understand. So I think, obviously they're doing a good job in what they're doing. I won't touch politics to save my life on air for anything, so we won't even discuss that. But you've got to understand that there are various audiences and there are various things that are going on. But one of the reason that I wanted to discuss this today is I sit in a classroom full of 20, 21, 22-year-olds, and I am discussing marketing with them from a media perspective, right? So we talk about mediums, media vehicles, and a media vehicle is basically something that carries your message, right? So you're talking about WJOB and the sports network and all this other stuff. Today we're talking about kind of 6 areas that each one of the generations pay attention to, where they want to shop. And it's funny because in the last episode you were talking about every time I go out and shop for something, I'm analyzing.
You are.
I am bad about it. So I hate to go shopping because I don't buy anything because I see everything. I understand everything. I admire good marketing, but it doesn't work on me.
By the way, about time for a new quarter zip there, Adriana.
Yeah.
I know we have a whole bunch of swag here. Think we could help them out here. You haven't bought one in a while, right?
No, I haven't bought one in a while. So
All right,
yeah,
go ahead.
no, today was a very traditional, laid back day, if you get that. But the idea is really this: that when you're looking at the generations that are going through right now, there are very distinct differences in how they want to shop. So we have everything from Gen Z, who are 13 to 28-year-olds. We have millennials who are 29 to 44. We have Gen X, who's 45 to 60. That's kind of where I fall. And then we have baby boomers, 61 to 79, right? So they're very, very different in their processes here. So if I go to a baby boomer and I start talking about TikTok, there's a little bit of misunderstanding. They don't get it. They may be on it, but they're not really tied to it, right? We look at shopping malls and where they are at this point, right? We have a variety of shopping malls that were around us, and that I remember, as a kid, we would go shopping for back to school and all this other stuff. Today, you know what? Christmas is, a few months away. The boxes are already starting to show up to my house, right? So my wife is buying things, and here comes Christmas gifts already. I cannot remember the last time I went to a mall to buy something, and I don't even know what's in a shopping mall at this point. So when we look at all of these things, and we're going to discuss kind of TikTok, Instagram, your own website, Amazon, in-store, and even pop-up shops that have kind of become popular over the last few years. These generations, you have to sit back and go, all right, who is our customer? Are we selling to boomers? Are we selling to Gen Z? And where do we need to be? So again, we've worked with a bunch of different companies, and we actually had a company come to us years ago, and they had an aging demographic. So it was 45 and older, and they were struggling because they didn't understand how to get a younger demographic. But their competitors were doing exactly, they had the younger demographic in the big cities and all this other stuff. So just by looking at the data, we started to understand, okay, you have a demographic shift here. People are moving to this other company because they're younger and the way that they approach things. And this company was selling their services online, whereas the older aging company was still doing everything in person in a shop, right? You had to come see them, make a phone call. And what we had to point out to them was, and I'm telling you this was like 15 years ago when we were having this conversation. And we were saying, you need to understand, if you're going to go after a younger demographic and younger generation, you have to understand what they want and how they want to shop. Okay. So I don't know how you want to approach this today, but.
Well, let's talk about what we do in class. If you guys know this, Matt Hansen and I met each other as I was a grad student in the MBA program, kind of longer and a little older. Actually, I think I was one of the oldest to graduate ever.
Still the oldest to date. No, just kidding.
Yeah, it's very possible. And it was just because I'm on the campus here, and I took one class and I took another, and next thing you know, I'm halfway through. I might as well get an MBA. So I took a couple of his classes, and I liked when we would do this, exactly what we have on the paper here, for discussions, 1 through 5. I love those things. Like, what is, 1 being the best and then 5 being the worst. So you look at TikTok, and then you look at all of the different groups, Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, and baby boomers. getting older as you go through. And you say, all right, well, which age grouping, is more appropriate for TikTok?
Right.
And it's pretty easy to fill this one
Of
out.
course.
Is 1 for Gen Z, which is 13 to 28, and it's 5 for baby boomers, and it kind of just gradually goes up. But TikTok is almost exclusively dominated 13 to 28.
Yeah.
Although, you might have some onlookers and stuff, but that's where their main, that's what they want, is that group. And that if you want to reach people and you want to advertise, that's where you would go.
Yeah, TikTok is making millionaires across the world in the shopping realm. And those that understand what's going on are taking advantage of it. So TikTok has actually become the search engine for this early generation, right? That's where they go for their information. They spend countless hours on it, and they're constantly shopping on there. When you start talking about an older demographic, such as a Gen Xer or a baby boomer, like, I get it, but I would rather go to an Amazon to buy the product than trust something that I'm getting through TikTok. And this, in my own household, it's funny because my wife is a couple years older than me, but we still fall within the same generation. And she will uncover different things, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or wherever she's shopping. And she'll see something and she sends it to me and she's like, do I trust this? So there's a trust issue on it with an older generation, right? And I'll look into things and I'll start to tell her, like, don't buy this. This is a scam, or, these people have really bad reviews or whatever it may be. And I'll do the work for her on that. But there's this transitional period where you and I used to shop at shopping malls. And now we've transitioned to the Amazons, the Targets, the Walmarts, whatever it may be, we buy through the
Drive
major...
Close or Amazon.
Right.
Here, B&H Photo is a big one.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially for you
a lot
guys.
of gadgets and lighting and stuff like that. But I feel secure going on Amazon.
Right.
I feel secure going on Walmart's website. I don't necessarily like going to Walmart.
Right.
But you're right. There is a lot of it's driving, and all the stores are around us now, and everything you ever wanted was on Amazon.
Right.
So I'm like you. I haven't been to a shopping mall per se in a decade.
Right. But you still, if there was a mall that had the stuff that you were looking for, which there isn't at this point, let's face it, shopping malls have basically deteriorated to a small fraction of what they used to be. But if you could take the Amazon experience and put it into a local place, you would still go, right? You would still go check it out. Be like, oh, if B&H Photo had the cameras that we use here in the studio, and you could run down the street and go check them out, you would do that in a heartbeat.
Be a regular.
Right. So when we look at an older generation, it comes down to trust and familiarity. When we look at a younger generation, such as my kids, they're online and they're like, oh, they're just clicking things and they're like, oh, I'm going to buy this. And they don't put a whole lot of thought into it because they don't have this long history of shopping. And really that trust factor is still there because they haven't been burned by something. Let's be honest, right? So they're looking at their social feeds, their TikToks, their Instagrams, and they're embedded in this because this is their entertainment. And now they're shopping in there as well. I was laughing the other day because I was looking at eBay now has live shopping in there, which is really interesting. So they're auctioning things off. It's people that you're following and so forth. So they're taking the same approach even on eBay that they're using on TikTok and Instagram, right? So it's a different generation, and that's going to slowly catch up to the older generations. But the way that we need to look at this is, at least 10, 15 years ago, from a marketer standpoint, I was waiting for Gen Xers and boomers to get a smartphone in their hands. It was driving me insane because it took so long for us to get out of the old Razor flip phones and everything else Now we've gotten to the point where a majority of everyone has some form of smartphone in their hand that they can use as a computer device and so forth. That's where we are here. So the Instagrams, the TikToks, the live shopping, those types of things are slowly moving to the Gen Xers, to the boomers. So when you're looking at your customer base and you're saying, well, I'm selling to the boomers, does it make sense to be on TikTok and Instagram trying to sell product, or should you be pushing them over to your website? So, when we look at kind of the ranking of a Gen X and a boomer, their preferred method is Amazon at this point.
The older, the boomer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Amazon. So, you got to look at that and go, okay, how long did it take for Amazon to get there? A while, but they're there now, and they are building. Like, there's nobody going to knock Amazon off. I mean, there's so much infrastructure and the way that they built this thing that they're there.
So why is it that Gen Z, Adriana once again represents Gen Z, why is it that Amazon is not as much of does not have much of an impact on Gen Z? Do you buy a lot off of Amazon? All right, Adriana's nodding.
But here, let me ask the question. How often are you on TikTok or Instagram versus Amazon?
I'm on TikTok and Instagram more so because that is an entertainment value in itself. But for just like regular shopping things, I look at Amazon maybe at least once a week.
Okay. But you're on TikTok and Instagram, or one of them,
yes, more,
daily,
yeah,
if not in the last hour.
Mm-hmm.
Are
right?
you on it right now behind there when I was trying to get your attention?
I was actually replying to somebody on Snapchat. So
all right, so
the wrong
same
social
idea.
media,
All right,
but-
good enough.
Right. So what we're saying though is that it's their entertainment venue. So I hear it in my house all the time. My wife's always like, "Get off your phone, do something," and I look at her and I go, "That's their TV. You're watching TV, they're watching their TV on their phone, so it's really kind of hard to yell at them for that." But if you see something on TV and it's a commercial, my wife will then go to Amazon and look for it. What we're doing with TikTok and Instagram is that it's a direct button right there to go and buy it instead of having to go search for it on Amazon. Many times I'm telling you right now, between 10 o'clock and 2 a.m. is where a good majority of that stuff gets sold on those platforms. And that's why I always laugh. I'm like, put the phone down after 10 o'clock to my kids, because you start getting into this rabbit hole of just various things, and you're tired and you spend money and you wake up the next morning, you're like, what did I buy?
Well, for that, they made it easier. So as you scroll, and if you click the middle, it's like almost the middle of the screen. It's a little bit lower. It says find similar. And they analyze the entire screen, whether it be somebody's shirt, a product they are holding, or the phone in their hand.
Yeah.
And we'll find similar videos and where it's at on TikTok Shop.
Right. So what we're saying here is shopping malls that are outdated. We've got pop-up shops, which we really haven't talked about, but are interesting in their own sense, right? You've got Amazon that targets you and goes, once you drop something into a cart, it will follow you in perpetuity, right, across the web. But then you have Instagram and TikTok that are the entertainment vessel that is delivering not only your entertainment, but your shopping, and is making it much easier for you to find things as well, right? So from a generational standpoint, again, it's going to take a lot of time for it to get all the way up to the boomers to be comfortable in that. We'll see where it goes in time. There's going to be somebody else that comes along in the future, right? So TikTok wasn't around, 10 years ago? Right?
It was.
Was it?
It was.
Okay. I don't know the start date of it.
By 2020 is when it picked up, but it was around by 2017.
Okay.
So almost.
But still, it's relatively new, right? So we're talking 8 years, right? Something's coming. We don't know what it is, but what's going to be the next round that makes it easier to shop and all those types of things?
So we're back to the small and medium-sized business, local business, local marketing. So what can they take from this discussion to their business?
Basically, look at your customer base. Who are you going after, Are you going after an older demographic? Are you going after a younger demographic? Or if you're going after all of them, you have to understand that there are certain preferences. So many people will say, well, we want to go younger. Okay, that's great. Then you start to look at, the millennials and the Gen Zs of the world. Amazon, when we look at our data here, Amazon is number one for everyone but the 13 to 28-year-olds. So are you selling anything on Amazon? Yes, no, I don't know. That's entirely up to you if you want to go down that rabbit hole, right? But when we start to look at websites, that becomes number two for the millennials and the Gen Xers, right? It kind of works as well with the baby boomers. So, again, it's the Amazon's, your own website, trusted types of things. So you have to look at it and go, okay, well, are we going to get into e-commerce? E-commerce has become relatively easy these days. When I first set up my first e-commerce site, I had to literally hard code all the tax rates into every single order, including the ones that varied based on counties. That was always fun. Today, you can just go out there and get Shopify. It does it all for you, and you don't have to worry about it. It will actually take care of the tax.
You were hard coding county tax rates?
Hard coding tax rates into the checkout. So that tells you how old I am in the digital marketing space, right there.
That does.
Right?
I mean, that wasn't that long ago that you would have had to do that, but the small to medium-sized business has all of these tools, and they have a limited marketing budget. Are you saying that if they want to get younger, they should go to certainly sell their stuff on Amazon if they can,
right?
If Amazon will accept it? Certainly, the website kind of goes all the way across the board, so you got to spend a little bit of time on your website. And, maybe one of the easier ones that I would think to get in would be Instagram.
Yeah, either Instagram or TikTok. If you're going after a younger demographic, you need to be on there today. And I cannot say that enough. You need to learn how to sell product through there. You need to understand what others are doing. You need to follow as many people as you possibly can in your niche and understand the way that they are doing. So it's great that you're posting content, but really what you need to understand is when you sell something that pays the bills, so learn from others. Listen to podcasts that will tell you how to sell on TikTok. I don't personally advise anybody, consult anybody in that realm, but there are people that I know that if I were to take it and go to that next level, let's say tomorrow I want to start some kind of brand and start selling it on TikTok, I know there are people that I can reach out to that will help guide me along the way.
He's Matt Hansen. You probably can't get into his digital marketing classes at Purdue Northwest, but you can listen to Mastering Local Marketing wherever you get your podcasts. This is episode 80, Shopping Across Generations, a Local Marketing Perspective. Thanks a lot to Adriana Alvarez, who is a senior at PNW, and to you, Matt Hansen, like always.
Good to see you.
And thanks to you for listening and watching. Until next time, we'll see you later.